Well, hope you had a great weekend. Second, someone shared a video with me, and this time I'm not going to actually show that video, very simply because I don't want for you to follow this rhetoric. Okay? The worst thing that I've heard like all day was don't pay your collections. And the reason behind this person saying don't pay your collections was because you don't have a contract or business. You haven't done business with that company. But like, he literally said the worst thing you could do is pay your collections because you don't have a contract with them. No, it does not work like that. If you do not pay your collections, guess what can happen? They can take you to court. Now, obviously, you have the ability to, go and fight the collection, fight the lawsuit and all that kind of stuff. But the point being here is, yes, you do have some sort of obligation to pay the collector. And if you look at any sort of contract, even my contract, for example, where it says when you sign up for credit or services or money or anything, you are agreeing, right? Go and look at the terms and conditions if you go and apply for Capital One or American Express or any sort of loan. It says in the terms and conditions, in the event that you just decide, your dog dies or whatever, that you do not want to pay this debt back, the money, the services, the credit, whatever it was that you got, right? That you are now going to have an obligation to whoever they sell or transfer it to. And you're literally saying, yes, you can transfer or sell this debt to anybody that you want to, because otherwise there would not be the collection industry, right? There wouldn't be lawsuits. That's the entire premise behind a credit sweep, is going and taking these companies to court and all that kind of stuff, right? So there wouldn't be a collection industry, right? They wouldn't go and pay, pennies on the dollar, kind of like, penny stocks and stuff, right? They're getting a booklet of 2,000 or so accounts, right? Collection accounts at the same time, and they're paying for those out of pocket. And now they're going to go and they're going to attempt to collect up to 100% of that, right? An example would be portfolio recovery, attempting to collect debts for, Capital One and American Express and Synchrony Bank and all that kind of stuff, right? So someone telling you not to pay your collections is literally leading you to believe that you're not going to be taken to court because of this, right? So portfolio recovery and Midland and Calvary and NCA and second round, those are all debt buyers. They buy these debts as booklets, like I mentioned, right? And guess what? They take people to court all the time. I've had many clients that were actually sued by these companies because they thought that they can just wipe them off their credit report and that now they would not be responsible for the debt. Doesn't really work like that. The $2.9 trillion in debt that we currently have as balances on these credit cards and these loans and everything. No, when they are wiped off your credit report using a legal and permanent credit sweep, you are still obligated to pay whoever owns the account at that time, Portfolio or Midland or Calvary or anybody. Even the original creditor, okay? So I don't want for you to buy into these, these shortcuts and, whatever. Yes, they can be legally and permanently removed from your credit report. I do it all the time. Over the past 5 years, I've removed 50,000 accounts from consumer credit reports. That's what I do. That is literally the business that I am in, wiping them off the credit report. But you still have a legal obligation to whoever owns that account. And if you do not pay it, now you are putting yourself in the limelight to say, hey, sue me, okay? So I'm not telling you that you are going to be taken to court. What I am saying is to stop believing in these fast overnight processes and these people promising that you're not going to have to pay these debts, because you're going to find out the hard way that yes, you agreed that in the event that you do not pay it, that it can be transferred or sold to whoever that company pleases, and that your obligation now is going to be with that company. And yes, a lot of these people, a lot of these places, a lot of these organizations, these businesses, these debt buyers, these collectors will now enforce that and take you to court, okay? So again, I'm not telling you that you can't remove them from your credit report, but I am telling you that there are times when you may be taken to court because you didn't pay it, okay? So what do you do if you cannot pay for these debts? Well, unfortunately, there's not many not many things that you can do, okay? Number one, you can only be forced to pay a debt if you have the ability to pay. Keep that in mind, okay? Another thing is, many people are skipping the whole process of removing it from your credit report, okay? So let's talk about that. How do you legally and permanently remove these accounts, these collections from your credit report? There's two different ways, and you have to be able to identify what they are on your credit report. Is it a third-party collector or is it a debt buyer? Okay, the ones that you really need to be kind of paying attention to if you're worried about being taken to court are the debt buyers. They're the ones, like I mentioned, that go and they buy these booklets of accounts, okay? The second type, again, third-party collectors, they are collecting on behalf of a company. Like you went and, you went to the hospital down the street, and for whatever reason, you did not pay that debt. Well, that's okay, because those are going to be the ones that are really easy to remove from your credit report. And again, I do this all the time. So listen to the person who gets the result, okay? I prove it. Go and look at my playlist. I prove to you that the way that I dispute personally works, okay? So you may want to pay attention here to the words that are coming out of my mouth, okay? So here's the deal. Let's talk about third-party collectors, okay? The ones that are collecting on behalf of the company. How do you remove these? It's really, really simple, and I've shown you many times how it works. Validation of debt. All right, so what do you do with the validation of debt? Well, it's really, really simple. There's two parts to it. One, where you are going after the actual company that is reporting it, whoever that data furnisher is, that third-party collector, right? And you are also going after the credit bureaus, okay? Because they're the ones that are being paid to report it. A lot of people get it messed up and they think that it's the bureaus that own the debt. Why would the bureaus own the debt? They're in the data business. They obtain, maintain, and sell your information. They do not own your information. That is why when you remove it from your credit report, you still have the obligation, the legal obligation to pay these debts, okay? Because otherwise, why would anyone pay their bills? That's like literally the biggest shortcut that could ever be, and trust and believe I would throw a label on it. I would have the biggest price tag on that you could possibly think of, and I would be a fazillionaire, okay? So validation of debt, there are 8 letters in this validation of debt series, okay? 4 to the collector, 4 to the bureaus. Now, you can actually access the validation of debt letters in a couple different places. If you do not have them, you cannot find them, whatever, okay? The links are down in the description. It is right in my course, and you can even get access to those letters that are in my course, all right? There's 144 letters that are in my course, and guess what? Validation of debt is in there. So validation of debt, the key to it, I'm going to give you the whole secret to this, so make sure that you pay attention. The secret to the validation of debt process and to the credit sweep process is the notice of dispute. So if you go and you look at letter 3 of the validation of debt dispute letters, it is basically saying, oh, prove that this is my debt, blah, blah, blah. But we really don't care about any proof that they can send, because normally it's going to be just a bunch of statements, right? On this date, you got this, at this hospital and blah, blah, blah. We don't care about that. We don't care about anything that they can send. It doesn't matter if they send something with a signature. Those things don't matter, okay? What we really want them to not do, what we don't want them to do, is to put what's called the notice of dispute on your credit report, right? So this notice of dispute is required by the bureaus, the creditors, and the collectors to be on your credit report, on that account, within 30 days from the date that you disputed it the first time. If it is not there, now it is a violation of Section 623 with the bureaus and the creditors, and then it is FDCPA 807-8 for the debt collectors, okay? So that is also, like I said, the key to the entire credit sweep process, that we can be disputing the date less active, the date less paid, the notice of dispute, the date less reported, the blah, 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 all those different things. There's like 19 different elements of an account that we can be disputing, right? But the only thing that we care about is the fact that they didn't put that required notice of dispute on there. And this goes for any type of account, but it works beautifully for third-party collections, right? Now, what about your letters to the bureaus? Well, those are really simple. For third-party collections like medical, utility, the gym, just things like that. You didn't pay your post office box, whatever, okay? Those are the ones where we're going after the notice of dispute, right, with the bureaus, saying, hey, this is totally unknown. And you know what? If you go back and you look at Cushman versus TransUnion from 1997, you're going to see on page 6, 7, or 8, somewhere in there, that Congress agreed that, or congressional opinion was that the bureaus have a grave responsibility, obviously, you know this part, to ensure the accuracy of your credit report. And it says that the bureaus can't just say that something is verified, right? They can't just agree with the creditor, that they have to actually go beyond the original source of information, meaning the actual data furnisher, to ensure that your credit report is accurate, okay? So this is why this whole thing works. So you saying, hey, this is unknown, puts that burden of proof back onto the actual credit bureaus. And they're never going to send anything to you. They're not going to furnish any sort of documentation. So this is why this works. Second part, what about those debt buyers? We talked about this the other day. You may want to go back and look at my very last video. Okay, my very last video it is literally the most intensive free credit suite course you are ever going to find. I literally have a mind map where I show you everything, how to dispute collections, charge-offs, repos, bankruptcies, judgments, tax liens, charge-offs. I go through literally everything, all right? But again, if you want the full scoop, you're going to want to go check out my course, which is linked down in the description. And not only is it a course that teaches you about literally reading the credit report, what to do with that information, the 144 letters, literally this entire book is included in there, 144 dispute letters, and the apps that help you create the actual letters, okay? So send me to .co/toolkit. Now, let's go and talk about debt buyers, right? Because they're the ones that we are kind of worried about, right? So when you are disputing the debt buyers, if it's within the statute of limitations, don't dispute directly with them. We're not disputing directly with them. The way that those are removed permanently from your credit report is going to be disputing with the credit bureaus, okay? So don't believe other people when they tell you to go directly to them, okay? I prove to you that what I do works and that this process works. You need to understand exactly what it is that you are looking for when you go and look at those accounts, like portfolio recovery, or Midland, or NCA. If you have any of those, or any other debt buyer, pay attention right now, okay? You are looking for past due on a collection because by default, the account is past due. You are also looking for limit. You are looking for a status that says that you are late, like 120 days, or anything where it says that you are late, because hello, it's a collection. Obviously, it is late, okay? Duh, all right? Another thing, late payments in the actual payment history, where it shows like a 24, month payment history, or even 7 years. If there is a late payment in there and you do not have an actual repayment agreement with that debt buyer, then that's inaccurate. Those are the things that you can dispute that are way at the top of the hierarchy, right? There's certain things that should be disputed. There's certain things that should be used. They're all at the top of the hierarchy. Everything else is at the bottom. If that does not work, now you go down the rest of the factual dispute process, right? Like I said, date last paid, notice of dispute, date last reported, first day of delinquency. All those things are part of the factual dispute process, okay? But those are 9 times out of 10 going to work for you. If there is a limit, if there is a past due, if there is a late status, if there is any of those things, that's what's going to remove that account, okay? So now we have talked about how to remove debt buyer collections, how to remove third-party collections. But again, if you want to access the full and complete dispute process for removing these things from your credit report, then you're going to want to go and check out that course to get all those dispute letters, the how, the why, the when, the where, the who, all that kind of great stuff, as well as that app that allows you to create those letters, because all of these letters are actually inside that app, okay? And you can create a letter in less than 90 seconds. It takes me 5 seconds to create a dispute letter using it, and that is the fastest app that is out there. There's literally no app that is faster than that, all right? So I know that it is late, but I wanted to make this video because if you didn't join me in the beginning, someone had sent me a video, and I'm not going to be using that video like I did for the identity theft video, but this person basically said, you should not pay your collections because you have zero contract with that company. And back in 2017, I actually posted a video specifically about this idea or whatever that was going around everywhere, where people were like, oh, I have no contract with you, blah, blah, blah. And it didn't work. It didn't work in 2017 when I put that video. It didn't work in 2018 or 2019 or 2020 or 21 or 22 or 23. Okay, it's not working now. It is never going to work. You are not going to ever remove a collection very simply by stating that you have no, business or contract or whatever with that company, because by default, when you go and apply for whatever that credit is, doesn't matter if it's a loan, it doesn't matter if it's a credit card, it doesn't matter if it's JC Penney's for that matter, you're saying that in the event that you don't pay that original company, JC Penney's or whoever it is, that it's going to be transferred or sold to whoever they want it to be sold to, and now your obligation is going to be with that company. Okay, so stop trying to remove these accounts very simply by stating that, because it is not going to work. And in the event that they take you to court, it's also not going to work as some sort of argument to get out of paying for it, because the judge is by default going to agree with that other party, and now you're going to have a default judgment, and you do not want that. All right, you don't want to lose a lawsuit because of that. There are ways to get around it. We're not talking about that today, and I'm also not an attorney, so I wouldn't tell you anyways, but I will tell you there are ways. Okay, but as far as your credit report goes, that's something that I can talk about with you, because I am a board certified expert for scores and credit, all right? And I also have a PhD in finance, all right? So I know what I'm talking about. All right, so if you have questions about this process, you can't leave a comment on this because I removed the ability to do comments on my lives, but you can go and post a comment on any one of my other videos, and I will be catching up on my comments this week, and I will answer yours, all right? But if you want to get the full scoop and all that kind of stuff, it is directly in my course, where I also show you how to remove charge-offs. I show you how to remove third-party collections, debt-by collections, bankruptcies, judgments, tax liens, and more. All right, so if you have been struggling with removing these because it is getting more and more difficult, then hey, you know what, I show you exactly how it works, and I prove to you right here on YouTube that it does work. All right, so I think I'm gonna get going now because it is getting kind of late and got an early day tomorrow, but yeah, I will see you guys tomorrow. I have a ton of content that I'm going to be putting out this week specifically for you. So make sure that you are subscribed so you do not miss when I put these videos out, and make sure you also hit that bell for notifications so that when I put them out, you actually know about it. All right. Tomorrow we're going to be talking more about the validation of debt and some other things. But for now, I hope you have a great evening. If you don't want to deal with any of this, and you just don't want to be disputing, that's okay too, because you can go to my740.com, schedule a call with me, and I will see if I can personally do the credit sweep for you. And just wanted to put this out there because there were a lot of people who were saying, well, you must have so many clients that you're unable to, process disputes and all that kind of stuff. Look, one of the reasons that I am so successful in what I do, and that I have always been successful over the past 12 years that I've been doing this, like, it's over a decade, okay? I literally have a process. One of the reasons that I'm so successful is that I only take on so many clients, which is why we do the call to begin with. I personally need to know that I can help you. If I cannot help you, I'm going to literally point you in the right direction, okay? And that was not me flicking you off. I'm just saying, like, I'm putting you in the right direction if I can't help you. And if I can help you, then I actually have the space and ability to do so, then I might offer services to you, all right? So no, I don't just have anybody sign up. You cannot just go to my website and sign up for my services. I actually have to personally offer it to you now that I know that I can actually help you, okay? So I only take on a certain number of clients per month. And again, that's one of the reasons that I'm so successful, all right? So that's it for tonight. I hope you have a great one. Hope you had a great weekend. And I will see you tomorrow, all right?